Alright, so what's going on everyone, it's Augie, and before we get into the video, like always, if you are new to the channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another new video. Also, we just received the join button over here on YouTube, so that if you want to support the channel even further, you can go ahead and do so. There's a ton of cool emotes and perks to get along with it, so if you want to go the full length in supporting the channel, and if you want to see more consistent uploads, be sure to join the channel by clicking the join button right below this video. Now, with all that said and done, enjoy the video. So, as of recently, a couple things have been on my mind, and with tons and tons of new anime and manga that I've been watching and or reading, there are some series that I honestly forgot about, and to really look back on not even more than a few months ago, I've read and watched so many different series, it's honestly been hard to keep track of the ones that I've been reading for quite some time now, other than of course the series that keep me heavily invested like One Piece and Attack on Titan for example. But to look back and realize just how many series I've honestly forgot about that me back then would consider some of those series to be the best of this generation, and among those many series, one definitely sticks out the most because I know for a fact within due time, once it returns to its mainstream platform, with the anime to eventually come out in the near future, of course by taking a look at the title and thumbnail of the video, you would know that the series I'm talking about is Chainsaw Man. So just a little outlook from my perspective on this series. If you haven't seen my other previous video already talking about a similar topic on the channel a few months ago, Chainsaw Man was a manga that I found relatively late, but not too late because it was just in time for the conclusion of part 1 of the series. And obviously I was a bit bummed out because I had just got up to the series not too long before the end of part 1, but what had me the most excited was that of the future of the series. And with the direction the ending of part 1 led to now where we're at in the point in the series of Denji's new coming of himself in high school, and that to me is something that I'm honestly looking forward to now than a lot of other things coming out right now. And that's pretty much why today I'm going to go over some of the things regarding the next steps of Chainsaw Man as a whole briefly, and give up my thoughts on the current placeholder of the Chainsaw Man manga. So without further ado, this is my updated thoughts and future hopes for the return of Chainsaw Man. So with the inevitable wait for the second part of the Chainsaw Man manga and the highly anticipated Chainsaw Man anime, the wait for literally anything Chainsaw Man related has been expected to show up sooner than later. And with all said and done from the end of part 1 of the manga late last year, Chainsaw Man will probably take the rest of the manga community by storm, along with the debut of the anime, which will most likely come out later this year or sometime around winter 2022. And now since it's almost been around 4 months since my last Chainsaw Man video talking about pretty much a similar topic to this one, I just wanted to continue the discussion about the series and the plans for the future of the series within this video, because I feel like for all we know, the second part of the manga could literally come out anytime from now to later this year, and that alone excites me because of just how much attention Chainsaw Man will receive once the anime comes out within the near future. And so to put it into perspective, for those of you who are pretty much unfamiliar with the series of Chainsaw Man, basically it's about as close to a seinen manga you can get into being put into Weekly Shonen Jump, which actually now it just switched over to Jump Plus, so on top of that gives more room for expansion within the second part of the manga. And to put it short, Chainsaw Man is a series if you haven't already, you should start reading in time for of course the second part of the manga and the first season of the anime, because this series without a doubt will inevitably grow to an unfathomable amount of popularity and success. But when it comes down to it, just when should we Chainsaw Man fans be expecting the return of the manga of Chainsaw Man? Well, as of right now, it's kind of hard to tell, and with everything still going on around the world, I would assume that it's possible to see the manga of Chainsaw Man to return this year, but at this point literally anything could happen. And altogether, the series of Chainsaw Man, from what has been told in the first part, was something that not a lot of manga have done before, from whether it's the premise of its story or the character manipulation and growth. The story of Chainsaw Man and the journey through the first part of Denji's side of things was an experience that was truly unique to the premise of something that serializes in Weekly Shonen Jump. And as a result, probably for all the good reasons, but Chainsaw Man did switch his magazines right after the first serialization of part 1 of the manga, so Chainsaw Man did jump over to Jump Plus to continue the second part of the manga, which like I said before still isn't confirmed for any date of return so far, but it got me wondering. And since Weekly Shonen Jump is pretty much predominantly known for its limitation on what is and isn't allowed in the magazine, and I just wonder with this switch if Chainsaw Man will be able to handle a more broad scale of things in part 2 than what was already in part 1, which probably won't be a whole lot since within part 1 already Chainsaw Man pretty much ran loose in terms of what its limitations were for the series overall. And I honestly hope that keeps up, because for Chainsaw Man in specific, it's what brings the series to life in a way, especially within a shonen magazine. And I honestly don't expect the series to be gone for that long anyways. I would assume at the most the return of part 2 of the Chainsaw Man manga to return no later than 2022. Anything later than that might just be put into a case of hiatus for the series, but I honestly doubt that will happen. And when it comes to the anime of the series, which is probably at this point one of the most anticipated animes in a while since Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime for Chainsaw Man is something I think will take the anime scene by shock. And I've said this before, but at at the start, I used to generally think that the Chainsaw Man anime would be limited to its audience since it's pretty much more of an adapted mature shonen series. But when you really think about it, if you have a series like Attack on Titan, for example, a surprisingly shonen series with a lot of blood and gore, maybe not as much as some other anime, but still a decent amount, and taken into perspective, this series overall is definitely one of the biggest anime and manga of all time. So for a series like Chainsaw Man to have a definitive of both blood, gore, and nudity, a lot more than Attack on Titan in its case, that factor alone doesn't really take it out of the question of being successful in the mainstream media. To some degree though, I wouldn't be surprised if the censorship of Chainsaw Man is taken to a farther level than Attack on Titan, because of course, if you read the series of Chainsaw Man, you would know the extreme lengths Tatsuki Fujimoto goes when quote-unquote presenting some of his female and even male characters. It honestly all just really comes down to the censorship of things, because depending on how far Studio Mappa decides to take it, it could heavily reflect on how the fandom responds to it. And just knowing that the anime will be taken care of by Mappa is something that for a while now, I felt that it could go both ways. What I mean by this is that depending on which team and staff they present us with, it could really decide the future of the anime of this series. And I just hope that the Chainsaw Man anime is paired up with the staff for Jujutsu Kaisen, because just knowing the amazing and wonderful adaptation that was made from the JJK team, it would honestly be a blessing to know that the same team would be dedicating their time to the first season of the Chainsaw Man anime. And it really just goes to show that with the amount of events and adaptations that are stacking up for the series of Chainsaw Man, the overall outcome for both the anime and the manga of the series will undoubtedly have a lot of potential and will most likely blow up in such a unique way. It might be hard to really compare it to another anime and or manga of its kind. And like I usually say with a ton of other series, we could be witnessing one of the greatest and newest manga and anime in the making, and watch how it develops into potentially one of the biggest manga and future anime of the season. But until then, I guess we're just gonna have to sit and wait to find out when everything unfolds for the return of Chainsaw Man. But to everyone who made it to the end of the video, I hope you all did enjoy the video. It's interesting to think that with all the factors that make the manga of Chainsaw Man so amazing, will it be possible to let it all come in full reveal in due time for the airing of the anime? And what will the expectations be for the second part of the manga? But one thing I know for sure is that when the anime for Chainsaw Man comes out, it's definitely going to go places farther beyond comprehension. That's most likely a given. But anyways, make sure before you click off the video to drop a comment on your thoughts on the video, and let me know your overall thoughts on the series of Chainsaw Man overall, and if you're hyped or not for the anime adaptation of the series. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join the Discord if you have not already. We got the Discord up and running again, so join the Discord and link in the description box down below. Also, shout out to the first legendary member rank of the channel, the Meaning of Nerd. And with that everyone, my Twitter's at AnimeAugie, and I'll make sure to catch each and every single one of you guys in the next video. Peace.